The unexpected war. The stars were calm that night, but the silence didn't last. A sudden explosion tore through the black sky above Zaros Station, the largest space colony near the Vulcan border. No one saw it coming, not even Commander Jace, Thorne, who was known for spotting threats before they happened. He stood on the balcony of the command tower, sipping his cold energy drink when the alarm screamed. Red lights blinked everywhere. The peaceful zone had just turned into a battlefield. Unknown. Ships approaching fast, yelled Lieutenant Mira from the control room. Jace tossed his drink and rushed inside. Show me visuals. The screen lit up. Strange ships with glowing wings and shifting armor, clearly not from any known race, sped toward the station. And, at the front of the formation was something even stranger. A small, unarmed cruiser flying with a white flag. Confused but calm, Jace gave the order. Don't fire. Let's see what they want. The cruiser docked. Out stepped a tall female, alien with bright teal skin, glowing blue eyes, and silver hair tied tight behind her. Her body was covered in sleek armor that hugged her like a second skin. She didn't look like a soldier, she looked like royalty. I am Princess Vila of the Karai, she said. We need your help, or we all die. Jace didn't blink. You brought a war to my doorstep. Why? She looked straight into his eyes, her voice shaking. Because the enemy chasing us only fears one thing. Humans. The first human encounter. The door slid open with a hiss. Lena stood perfectly, still, her silvery blue skin glowing faintly under the lights of the space station corridor. She had never seen a human in person before. Stories said they were unpredictable, dangerous, even fascinating. And now, one was standing right in front of her. He wasn't tall by her species standards, but there was something solid in the way he stood. His name was Captain Ryan Cade. He looked directly at her, calm, collected, but his eyes flickered with curiosity. You must be the liaison, Ryan said, offering a hand. Lena didn't take it. She simply stared. You're not what I expected, she muttered. Neither are you, he replied with a small smirk. But I mean that in a good way. A long pause stretched between them. Lena crossed her arms, trying to hide the flush starting to creep up her neck. Why was it suddenly so warm in this freezing corridor? I've been asked to show you around the facility, she said flatly. Ryan nodded, stepping beside her. Lead the way, princess, she halted. I'm not a princess. Could have fooled me. Her heart skipped. What was this strange confidence he carried? Why did her body react so strangely to such simple words? She looked straight ahead, walking faster, but Ryan kept up, always just close enough to make her skin prickle, and then without warning, he said something that made her gasp, loudly, and turn completely red. The suggestion, Lena froze mid-step. Did he really just say that? Her mind raced to process it. His suggestion. Ryan stood behind her, his expression innocent but clearly hiding amusement. It was just a thought, he said casually. A thought? She spun around, her voice rising. You suggested we share quarters? He shrugged. It's more efficient. You're assigned to guide me. I need constant updates, and the commander said our rooms are already on the same floor. Saves time. Her cheeks glowed orange now, a clear sign of fluster among her kind. No one has ever asked me that, she muttered, more to herself. Ryan tilted his head. It wasn't a demand, just an offer. You can say no. Lena's heart thudded in her chest. Her people were private, distant. Physical closeness was rare. Sharing a room, let alone with a human, was culturally scandalous. And yet, part of her was curious. Humans were said to bond easily, to care deeply. They didn't fear awkwardness the way her people did. And this one, this soldier, wasn't what she expected. He was calm, kind, confident. He didn't act like he owned the place, and his voice, it was grounding. I'll consider it, she said stiffly, turning back around. But her voice was quieter now. Ryan grinned behind her. He hadn't expected her to gasp like that, or blush so hard. But something told him this alien partnership was going to get very interesting, especially now that he knew how easily he could get under her skin. The shared quarters. The automatic door slid open with a soft hum. Lena stood in, the hallway frozen. She had finally agreed. The commander's orders were simple: maximize collaboration with the human. That meant sharing information, routines, and now, apparently, space. Ryan stepped aside and gestured playfully. Ladies first. Lena gave him a sharp look but entered. Her steps were stiff, calculated, but inside, her mind was chaos. The room was standard issue: 2 beds, a shared workstation, neutral walls with soft ambient light. But the air inside felt too warm. Or maybe that was just her body temperature rising again. "This is temporary," she said, arms crossed. "Just until the next reassignment." "Of course," Ryan said, dropping his bag with a heavy thud. "Until then, I'll try not to snore." She raised an eyebrow. "What is snore?" Ryan chuckled. "You'll find out." Lena didn't respond. Instead, she went to the desk organizing her gear like a soldier, but she kept glancing sideways at him. Watching him move, so relaxed, so human, it was unlike anything she'd experienced. Her people were efficient, precise. But humans were something else. That night, as the lights dimmed, Lena lay on her side, back to him, but her mind refused to rest. From the other bed, Ryan's voice cut through the silence. "Hey, you okay?" There was a pause. Then softly, she replied, "You're not what I expected." He smiled in the dark. "Neither are you." Their words floated in the room like heat trapped under thin blankets. No threats, no war. Just 2 beings learning how to exist, together. The heat between them. The next morning, Lena woke with a start. She wasn't used to dreams. Her species rarely dreamed, at least not in ways humans did. But last night, her mind had been filled with strange flashes among the humans smiling at her, their hands touching, and then heat, radiating intense, unexplainable heat. She sat up quickly, heart pounding, her skin glowing faintly under her tunic. Across from her, Ryan was already awake, sipping from a metallic cup. He looked at her with concern. "Rough night?" Lena didn't answer. Instead, she swung her legs down and stood. "There is something wrong." "With you?" he asked, standing now too. She hesitated. "My body is reacting strangely. I felt things. Warmth, emotion, dreams." Ryan nodded. "You've been around humans too long." She turned sharply. "What does that mean?" He stepped closer, serious now. "It means maybe your biology is adapting, or maybe it's not just biology." Lena's glowing eyes met his. "Explain." He looked down, almost shy for a moment. "We share a space. We share meals. We talk, laugh, fight. You're not a mission anymore. You're a person, to me." Lena's breath caught. Then suddenly, alarm sirens blared. A red strobe filled the room. "Intrusion in Sector 3, the ship's voice boomed. Lena moved fast, grabbing her blade. Ryan pulled on his chest armor. As they sprinted down the corridor side by side, their thoughts weren't on the enemy ahead, but on the words that hadn't yet been said. Fight in the shadows, the corridor lights flickered. Red alarms painted the walls like blood. Lena pressed her back to the cold steel, blade drawn, her breathing steady but fast. Ryan crouched beside her, rifle in hand scanning the hallway ahead. "Intruders are close," Lena whispered. "Not from your world, not from mine either." Ryan frowned. "Third faction?" Lena nodded slowly. "Scavengers. They don't care about sides. They just want tech, bodies, anything they can sell." Just then, a thud, then another. Metallic. Footsteps getting louder. A strange figure stepped into view. clad in patchwork armor, face hidden behind a cracked visor. It wasn't alone. 3 others followed. "Stay hidden," Ryan whispered, raising his weapon. But Lena stepped out. "We'll not hide." Before Ryan could stop her, she leaped forward, blade flashing with deadly grace. One of the scavengers raised a blaster, but too slow. Her sword sliced through its arm. Gunfire erupted. Ryan dove out, covering her flank. His shots were precise, controlled. The second scavenger dropped. Lena spun, her white hair trailing behind. Like fire, her movements elegant but brutal. 1 slash, 2 strikes, and another fell. The last intruder tried to flee. Lena threw her blade. It landed deep in the target's back. Silence. Ryan stood up slowly, panting. "Remind me never to get on your bad side." Lena looked at him, her cheeks flushed again. "Not from the fight." "You saved my life," he said. She looked away. "You saved mine first." Their eyes locked. No more jokes. No more pretending. And somewhere in the tension, something new began to grow. Her answer, Lena sat at the edge of the cliff, legs crossed, arms hugging her knees. The twin moons of her homeworld hung low behind her, their light casting a silver glow across the alien terrain. She hadn't said a word since the fight. Ryan approached quietly, holding 2 steaming cups. He handed one to her. "It's not real coffee, but close." She took it gently, her fingers brushing his. "Thank you." He sat beside her. The wind blew softly. The stars above sparkled like stories waiting to be told. "I was wrong about you," she said finally. Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Only one thing?" She gave a tiny laugh. "Many things, but mostly, I thought humans were careless, loud, crude. But you fought for me when I was only your burden." "You were never a burden," he replied. "You were the only one who saw me as more than a uniform." Lena turned to him, her glowing eyes serious. "Back in the lab when you made that suggestion, when you said I should stay with you, not out of duty, but choice, I didn't know how to respond." "You turned bright red and almost fell backward." Ryan smirked. She punched his arm lightly. "Shut up." Silence followed, but it wasn't empty. It was full of possibility. "I still don't know if I belong with your kind," she whispered. "You don't have to," Ryan said. "Just belong with me." Her breath caught. The moons reflected in her eyes like answers waiting to be spoken. Then she nodded, barely, but enough. That was her answer. And in that moment, beneath alien stars, a new chapter began. A place called Home Weeks passed. The war was over, but for Lena, peace felt stranger than battle. Her people had returned to the stars, but she stayed. Not as a prisoner, not as a guest. She stayed because of him. Ryan had offered her a home, not a structure made of steel or walls, but a life, a rhythm, a reason. Now she sat cross-legged, in a field of Earth's golden grass, her fingers skimming over old paper books he'd brought her from a ruined library. Sunlight warmed her silver-white hair and wind whispered over her bare shoulders. Her skin still shimmered faintly, alien, beautiful, otherworldly, but her expression was soft now, not guarded. Ryan stepped out of the nearby structure, part greenhouse, part shelter, wiping his hands with a rag. "You've read that one 5 times. I like the way it ends," she said. "The girl survives. She finds peace, even after pain." He smiled. "You know it's fiction, right?" She tilted her head. "So are we." They both laughed. "But," then she looked down, serious. "Your people still don't trust me." "They will," he said. "And if they don't?" Ryan came over and knelt in front of her, brushing a glowing strand of hair behind her pointed ear. "Then they'll have to go through me." Her eyes shimmered. "You really would fight your own kind. For me? I already did." Lena took his hand. No declarations, no promises. Just a quiet, powerful truth between 2 beings who shouldn't have belonged. but somehow did, together, on a planet where one offered trust and the other learned how to feel safe enough to stay. The gasp that started it all, the campfire crackled under a soft Earth night, stars glittering above like a second galaxy waiting to be named. Lena sat beside Ryan, knees brushing, her head tilted back in wonder. "You humans name every star," she whispered. "Why?" He poked the fire with a stick. "Because naming things makes them feel like ours, like we understand them." She looked at him, her silver blue eyes glowing in the firelight. "Then do I need a name too?" "You already have one," she smiled shyly. "I mean, a human one." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "You want one?" Lena hesitated, then nodded slowly. He thought for a moment, then said, "How about Hope?" She blinked. "That's simple. It fits." There was silence, and then Lena laughed softly. "Is this another one of your suggestions, human?" He chuckled. "Why, gonna gasp again?" Lena blushed. "That day, you embarrassed me. You turned bright red. You made a warrior forget her training. And I regret nothing." She reached forward and touched his cheek, fingers tracing the scar from a battle long past. "I never thought a suggestion like yours would change everything." He covered her hand with his. "Neither did I." A distant star streaked across the sky. Lena watched it and whispered, "You didn't just give me a name. You gave me something I didn't think I was allowed to have." "What's that?" "A future. And there, under a human sky, an alien girl once displayed like a trophy, leaned into the warmth of someone who saw her not as a soldier, not as an outsider, but simply as someone worth staying for. And all it took was a bold suggestion. Let me know if you'd like. A title variation for SEO YouTube description, plus hashtags, thumbnail image, prompt, plus text overlays. Not just a suggestion, but a promise. The council chamber was filled with tension. High-ranking aliens of Lena's caste stood in shimmering armor, each face hard and unreadable. Their eyes were fixed on the human, Ryan, who stood calmly in the center of the floor. He didn't flinch, not even when the verdict was about to be read. "You trespassed our holy borders," one elder said sternly. "You touched what was not yours. You made suggestions." Ryan didn't look away. "I didn't touch anyone. She chose to stand beside me. She was vulnerable, weak from trauma. You manipulated her emotions." Then a soft voice rang out. "No," Lena said, stepping forward. "He didn't manipulate me. He gave me something none of you ever offered: choice." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Lena stood tall in front of them now. I gasped at his words, not because I was ashamed, but because, for the first time in my life, someone saw me, not as a soldier, not as a status symbol, but as a person. Her eyes met Ryan's, glowing with something warm. "I'm not blushing out of embarrassment anymore," she said. "I'm burning with the freedom he helped me find." The elders hesitated. Ryan's hand gently touched her back, not possessively, but in quiet support. The oldest among them finally spoke. "Then let it be known. The bond stands. She may walk the path she chooses, even if it walks beside a human." Outside the chamber, Lena exhaled slowly. "So, what's next?" Ryan smiled. "That suggestion I made before?" She smirked. "The one that turned me red?" "Yeah," he said. "Still stands. But now, it's not a suggestion." She looked at him, heart thudding. "Then what is it?" "A promise." And in the light of two suns, an alien girl who once lived in silence, and a human who spoke with honesty, stepped forward into a future neither of them had ever imagined. Let me know if you'd like. An epilogue. A matching thumbnail prompt. A video description and hashtags or a YouTube title variation for better SEO.